Hi, my name is Maeve and I am going to show you my local area here in Ireland, in the east of Ireland. So I live in a county called Kildare, and as you can kind of see behind me, it's a pretty flat area. It's pretty low-lying and it's in the east of the country, not far from our capital, Dublin. And the area that I live is quite rural, and the main kind of habitat would be farmland actually. So we have some nice, more natural habitat in around the edges of the farms. We'd have hedges and small stands of trees, and the same along our local rural lanes or roads. We'd have some nice trees and hedges that would have been there for probably hundreds of years, but most of the land is made up of farmland. So we'll just have a look. We'll go for a little walk now and we'll have a look around the fields and the field margins and the road verges to see what wildlife and local plants and animals we can find. So first up, growing wild here, we have the daisy. Perhaps this flower is the best known of all of our flowers. It is native, meaning it has been naturally growing in Ireland for thousands of years since the last ice age. It grows easily in short grasslands from March through to October each year. Next, you're probably noticing those bright orange flowers. Again, these would be a very common feature in the Irish countryside at this time of year. They are dandelions, and they grow on the roadsides and grassy waste places and in fields, and they bloom in March through to October every year. These are also native and are a very important source of nectar for bees in the springtime of each year in particular, when not much else is in bloom yet. Beside these dandelions here, we can see a tall plant with white flowers. This is called garlic mustard, or another name for it is Jack by the hedge. This is quite commonly seen at the edges of woodlands or roadsides and hedges, and is another native plant. The white flowers are in bloom April to June, and it is called garlic mustard because it smells of garlic when you crush the leaves, and it can be eaten. It can be used in pestos or raw in salads. It's also eaten by the caterpillars of the orange-tipped butterfly, so it is an important species of plant for local biodiversity. I was busy looking at this next rough area when some mallard ducks flew over. Can you hear them? This is a picture of a male or a daddy mallard, and we're not far from a canal where we're filming at the moment, so they love to spend time at the water up there. So here we found another very important native Irish plant. It's called ivy. It is an evergreen climber which clings to walls, trees, cliffs and rocks, and it can carpet the ground in shade and under hedges. One of the interesting things about this plant is that the flowers come in autumn, whereas most of our flowering plants in this part of the world appear in spring. In spring, the ivy fruit is developing, and these are the berries that you can see in front of you there. They're purpley black, they're ripe at the moment, and they're poisonous to us, but a great source of food for many birds. Ivy provides great shelter to lots of different wildlife, from insects to bats and butterflies to birds throughout the year. It's a really important feature of our landscape. Down on the road verge, the next plant that we see in flower is called black Medick. This is often used on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, as the true shamrock. As you probably know, the shamrock is a symbol worn in Ireland as the national badge. The seed pods of black Medick become black when ripe. This is where the name probably comes from. And like many other pea flowers, this plant is loved by bees as a source of nectar. It is also a good source of nectar for many butterflies, including the common blue. Before leaving this laneway verge, I spot an old dandelion clock. When newly grown, these clocks are a full sphere or a full ball of fluff. In this one, much of the clock has already blown away. If you look closely at what I pick up between my finger and thumb in a moment, you'll see tiny white parachutes attached to a brown seed. This is a really clever design. The feathery parachute-shaped plant material catches the wind really easily, just like a parachute, and carries the seeds far away from the parent plant, thus giving the new seed a great opportunity to find a good place to grow. Now I've wandered into a local field. Here we can see one of our bumblebees getting a good feed of nectar from this dandelion. We have about 20 bumblebee species in Ireland. They live in small colonies, started by a single queen in springtime. A colony will usually be less than 100 bees, and this is very different to honeybees, where thousands or tens of thousands of bees can live together in huge hives. Bumblebees are pretty docile, and although they can sting, they rarely do. The next thing we see here is a bumblebee climbing into long grass. And this is more than likely where she has her nest of young bumblebees developing, and she's providing food to them. What a sea of dandelions we can see in front of us. This is just like a buffet of food for the bees. Now let's pay attention to the bird songs. Here we meet a friendly robin on the fence post. We're stopping here to notice and enjoy more bird song. It's stronger in here, where we find more mature trees, and the birds are that bit closer to us. It's breeding season here at the moment, so these songs are mostly male or daddy birds, and they're boasting about the wonderful territories and nest sites that they have established. I wonder, can you see that some of the grass seems trampled between the hedge and the fence? I noticed this a few weeks ago, and as this area is shut off to people, I figured it must be some wild animals walking here and trampling or flattening the grass. I was lucky enough to have access to a nighttime camera, so I set one up to check this out. Not only did I discover a fox was using this wild corner, but also there was a pretty nosy badger. So when you're out and about, noticing your local plants and animals during the daytime, don't forget to look out for tracks and trails and other signs, as these can let you know about what you might have visiting at nighttime too. I hope you've enjoyed the sights and sounds of that short nature walk in late spring here in Ireland. Can you think of any ways to explore and appreciate more the life on land close to where you live?